America how tall I am. Why does America think I'm 5'4"? I'm 6'1". I'm almost as tall as Chris Carter.
Hand quick, just so he can continue to develop that rhythm. I expect big things from him in year number 2.
I agree.
All right, sticking with football, Dez Bryant's destiny in Dallas is still up in the air. Cowboys CEO Stephen Jones recently said that Dez and the team have yet to meet to discuss his future. The two sides are in a standstill over contract negotiations, and the team hasn't ruled out drafting a wide receiver. Cece, what does Dez's future in Dallas look like? Because it seems to change from day to day.
Well, I mean, I know this type of meeting. No one wants to have a meeting talking about your money. No one wants that meeting.
Unless you call the meeting. Unless it's the person getting paid calls the meeting. Sir, boss, I'd like to come talk about the money. That usually means you're asking for a raise.
Yeah, call me first before you do that. Because I'll just tell you that's probably not going to end well. Nick, okay, I'm just going to give you, maybe since you look up to me just a little bit. All right, like,
okay.
Dez's future's like Nick. It's short. Like, don't loan him no money. No, Dez got to concentrate on trying to get better. Whatever the money situation is, I would take a salary reduction. I believe he's worth more to Cowboys. Tell them to give you some incentives. If I get a 1,000-yard season, which I haven't had, if I get 1,100, give me that back. If I get 1,200, if I get 10 touchdowns, give me that money back. I believe it should be worked out. Dez is more valuable for the Cowboys.
What I will say is this. The longer the Cowboys wait to have this uncomfortable conversation, the more, in my eyes, the leverage shifts towards Dez. Because the more the wide receiver market dries up more. It's certainly if you wait until after the draft and you see if the Cowboys have or haven't taken a wide receiver. So, I mean, at some point, Dez's people will be able to say, what are you going to do with the money you're taking from him? Just put it in the owner's pocket? Like, the players are going to be gone. So if they want to have this conversation, they should have it sooner than later.
Jenna, you know in relationships, you're better off just bringing it up as soon as possible. Ain't no need in waiting and putting it off because it's inevitable. We got to have this conversation, Jenna.
I know. We just did, didn't we?
We got to talk.
I hate that. We need to talk. That's the worst. Moving on to baseball now. Giancarlo Stanton followed up his 5-strikeout game with a big day yesterday. He hit his 3rd home run of the season, a 2-run shot. Nick, he's now on pace for 81 this year. Thank you. Every day, baby. Every day. I'm just saying a couple of math things, and now I'm moving on.
Nice.
Following his lead, Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez each went deep for 2-run homers of their own. Yanks beat Tampa Bay 7-2. CeCe, how dangerous is this Yankees lineup, especially that middle meat?
We know the lineup is dangerous, but how healthy can they stay? The bottom of the lineup, you know they're going to have to save them at some point. But also, how consistent can they be? We know it's powerful, but how consistent can they be? And when they hit some type of slump, how bad is that slump? But I'm a Yankees fan. I was one of the ones booing when he struck out 5 times. Yesterday he gets up the bat, he launches one to left center. That's great. But then he struck out 3 more times. So then I'm back.
Listen, people got to know what they got with Giancarlo Stanton. He is pretty typically a 3-result guy. Like, strikeout, home run, walk. Like, this is who he is. He's not a guy that's going to hit a lot of, opposite field doubles. Like, this is who they added, knowing who he was. We're excited to add him and pay him all the money they had signed with the Miami Marlins to. So, you know who he is. It's the people behind him. Like, when he's the only bat in your lineup, as he was in Miami except for Yelich, like, then all of a sudden, if he has an 0 for 4 night, you're screwed. When you have Judge and Sanchez and then Didi, what did he have? Had 8 RBI the other day. Like, you're going to be fine. This is the best lineup in baseball. The Astros might be the best team in baseball because of the pitching staff. This is the best lineup in baseball.
Love it. All right, moving on to hoops. The 1-seed Raptors beat the 2-seed Celtics 96-78.
The mini Magic draft.
Toronto stretched their lead in the East to 3 games with 4 to play. Nick, can the Raptors be a serious threat to Cavaliers in the East?
They can't be that, but I will give them credit. Because last night was an important game. Like, I know Boston's shorthanded. Boston been beating folks shorthanded. They almost beat Milwaukee the day before. They beat a Utah team that was on a great run when they were shorthanded. So Toronto on a back-to-back after another devastating loss when Kyle Lowry had played his worst game of the year. To win this game and win it, I mean, they only scored 14 points in the first quarter. They're on 20-14 after the first quarter. Then they played really well on both ends of the court afterwards. This basically locks up the 1 seed for them, so that's important. They avoid the Cavs until round 3. That's important, so good win for them.
Man, they had to win this game. And Boston being shorthanded the way they were in a 2-night span, they couldn't afford to lose this game. So Boston right now, to me, it's Manny Mannix yesterday talking about, oh, Cleveland better watch out for Boston. He must have jinxed them because this was not a good night for me. You could look on the court and you've been like, okay, who is that for Boston? Okay, now who is that for Boston? Okay, I don't know that player either. Yeah. I mean, they have some G League players out there playing.
What I will say is Boston right now is the 2 seed. I think they're hoping Miami falls to the 7. I think they'd much rather play Miami as the 7 than Washington as the 7.
Yes.
So just watch that as the last week of the season unfolds.
All right, lastly here, rumors are circulating that Lonzo Ball could be shut down for the season with a lingering knee injury, even though there's like a week left.
Yep.
Ball is averaging 10 points, 7 assists, 7 boards in his rookie year. Chris Carter, how do you evaluate Lonzo Ball's first season?
Well, you have to evaluate. You have to be very positive. I mean, you're looking at the rookie class and how all of them, for the most part, have struggled in some aspect. We've had 2 in Simmons, Donovan Mitchell. Those 2 are the highlight of this class. But if you tell me, okay, as a rookie, he's going to get 10, 7, and 7, like, there's some things in there that you can't teach. Like, you can't teach a kid to be unselfish. You can't teach a kid to be a floor leader. You can't make a guy rebound. We didn't know what kind of defender he'd been. He's been a positive as a defender. That's been a plus for him. So it's been a very good year. The Lakers, they can see moving forward, wow, this is the guy that we thought he was going to be. Maybe he doesn't have to necessarily change his jump shot, but he's got to be able to get in the gym to be able to be more consistent and to be able to get it off quicker. He's got to develop some more offensive weapons, finishing at the rim, some type of intermediate game or a floater game there in the lane. But I think that the Lakers, their coaching staff has been positive in the things that they said. And I know that Magic Johnson is positive with his overall attitude and how he's dealt with some adversity. He believes that's going to make him stronger going forward.
There's a few things that are overwhelmingly positive for Lonzo. One is, you mentioned the 10, 7, and 7. Like, only 4 rookies ever have put up the stat line Lonzo put up their rookie year. It's Oscar, it's Magic, it's Ben Simmons, it's Lonzo Ball. Now, no one is saying he's going to be Oscar or Magic. I don't think he's going to be Ben Simmons either. But the filling of the box score, the being better than average at the non-scoring parts of the game as a rookie, that's very difficult. We see a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who I think is going to be an excellent scorer in this league one day. He may never, at his peak, be as good of a passer and rebounder as Lonzo is right now.
Yes.
So, like, that's a big positive for him. I'm going to say another thing that's a positive that has kind of been underrated the last month and a half, and I think a positive for him moving into year 2. The dad doesn't seem as relevant anymore. Like, when's the last time, I know on this show we try not to talk about LeVar, but any of these shows, like the dad doesn't move the needle as much to where you almost feel forced to bring him into a Lonzo discussion. So why am I bringing him up now? The Lakers are going to be going after major free agents this offseason. And if the level of noise from the father had stayed consistent from day 1 to now we're in game 79, I think that could turn off some free agents. That has not been the case. And so those things work in his favor, I believe.
I know the numbers are great, and I know his line is great, and it puts him up there with elite rookies that have gone on to have incredible careers. So why does it feel like he hasn't lived up to the hype? Like, why are we even having this conversation? How do you evaluate his first?
Because this is what we do. We build kids up to tear them down. Like, there was no way when Magic Johnson drafted him and said he will be in the rafters one day as one of the Lakers great, that he was going to, there's no way, given the volume of information and noise that his family made, that he was going to be able to live up to that.
They all did him a disservice.
Well, that's here nor there. All right? We're evaluating the player. And the kid is a good kid. The Lakers organization, they like him. We can't control the hype. But when you look at it, what happens to rookies? You mentioned De'Aaron Fox. He was a great prospect coming in. What kind of rookie year did he have?
It's not like D. Fox was taking 20 picks after him, just a few picks later. Like, we talked about Malik Monk.
Yes.
Another top 10
in
pick.
Charlotte.
We hadn't talked about Malik Monk once all year until we showed that highlight yesterday.
He was in the G League.
Exactly. So the fair comparison for Lonzo coming into the league was not Magic. It was always Jason Kidd. And so let's just, if he is done with his rookie year, show them side by side. Their rookie years. Jason Kidd was a slightly better scorer. They were near equivalent passers, and Lonzo's a slightly better rebounder. Like, if he continues on the Jason Kidd trajectory, a guy who is one of the 8 greatest point guards in the history of the league, everyone will say that it was a wildly successful career. Like, Lonzo did, He didn't exceed expectations, but I don't think he failed to meet realistic expectations either. What we didn't see coming was Donovan Mitchell and then Ben Simmons, the redshirt rookie, having these monster seasons along with Jason Tatum.
All right, let's move on to the NFL.